You know, more than half of my life has been involved in the world of sports, football specifically. And I've come to learn that even though it's been a part of my life, a passion of my life, consumed a lot of my time, is that I do share this world with some people who could care less about what is happening in the world of football and playoffs and Super Bowls and drafts that are coming up. And some of those people may be sitting right out here this afternoon. But whether or not, and here's my point, whether or not we like the game of football, whether or not we're involved in the game of football, you do have to admit on some level that it's become part of the fabric of our lives. Whether it be now postseason, pre-draft, whether it goes into training camp, preseason, season, playoffs, postseason, on the way to the Super Bowl, football is on our televisions 24 hours a day. It's in our newspapers. It's on talk shows. We have played the game. Family has played the game. Friends have played the game. Our kids have played the game. It's a topic of conversation within our households and within our work environment. And football, to me, is much like life. Why? Well, if you think about it, there's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end, and depending on how your team has prevailed, there's a mourning period, and then there's a renewal, and we start all over. And that sequence, if you think about it, repeats itself week after week after week. And it creates one thing, the world of football, much like life. It creates one word, and that one word is hope. God, I hope they can turn it around next week, or I hope they can get back on track, or I hope they get the right players this offseason, or I hope we get the right coach, or I hope we get some ingredient to be able to get us into the playoffs. God, I hope they can just win. I hope they can get to the championship game. I hope they can get to the bowl game. I hope they can get to the Super Bowl. But as we've come to learn in our lives that getting to the top, becoming the best, winning that championship, ultimately winning that Super Bowl, just doesn't happen. Any Cleveland Brown fans out there understand that? God, it just, doesn't happen. But I was very fortunate for those years I played with that team in Pittsburgh that today they now allow me to wear 4 of those rings from Super Bowls, where are they? Super Bowls 9, Super Bowls 10, Super Bowls 13, and Super Bowls 14. Scott had made mention back in 74 and 75 and 78 and 79. One against the Minnesota Vikings, 2 against the Dallas Cowboys, and the 4th against the then L.A. Rams. But you have to understand that having 4 Super Bowl rings poses a lot of problems to me because no matter, and honestly, no matter where I may go, it raises a myriad of questions, much like I got earlier today, before lunch actually, from Scott specifically, when he goes, geez, Rock, I mean, you got 4 Super Bowl rings. Do you change them every day? I mean, how do you decide which one to wear? I mean, which one's better than the other one? Which one do you like more than the other one? Well, I have to tell you in all honesty that this one that I wear on my right hand from Super Bowl 13, the second time that we had played the Dallas Cowboys, is the one that I wear, thank you, all the time. And for various reasons. One happened to be the best game I played in all 4 Super Bowls. Secondly, it was the only game in all 4 Super Bowls that I had personally scored a touchdown in. But you also have to understand, see, that it was just not a ordinary touchdown, okay? I mean, it was just not a run-of-the-mill flop your body over the goal line kind of a touchdown, because really, in all honesty, think about it. That does not take a whole lot of skill. I mean, any dumb slob can do that from 1 yard out. Just give him the ball, let him fall over the goal line. Those of you who are old enough, saw William Perry do it all the time when he was playing for Chicago. But you have to understand, see, that this touchdown was one of a great athletic achievement, one of an extraordinary ability. And for those of you who may remember it, not these many years ago, I want to thank you very much. Now, for those of you who don't remember it, somewhat fuzzy, quite not in focus, and although you may remember that the Steelers had partook in the game, and hey, yeah, maybe Bleier did do something, well, I'd like to make sure, and before we leave here today, is that touchdown will be forever etched in your memories. And so I'd like to take you back just very briefly in time to that game all those many years ago, the second time that we had played the Cowboys. Oh, we knew it was going to be a very toughly fought battle because of the fact you just don't play the Cowboys twice after you beat them the first time and expect them to roll over and play dead the second time. And boy, that game had seesawed back and forth, especially in the first half, when all of a sudden the score was tied 14-14, and we got the ball back, but more importantly, we got what? We got momentum on our side, and we started to drive the ball down the field. And as we're driving the ball down the field, we're fighting not only the defense, we're also fighting the clock on the wall, because of the fact that we wanted to get into a position before the gun went off at halftime to at least walk away with a score, be a touchdown or field goal, to carry that momentum into the second half. We're driving the ball down the field, clock ticking away. All of a sudden, we found ourselves down on the 6-yard line. Third down, 1 yard to go for a first down. Play that had been called was just a quick pass play to the halfback. Myself. Where I'd go right down that line of scrimmage. Bradshaw, our quarterback, would hit me very quickly with the ball. My responsibility, over my shoulder, fall over the line, pick up the first down, keep the momentum going. Well, when the ball was snapped, I came bursting out of my stance. Now, my opponent across from me was this wily old veteran by the name of D.D. Lewis, who immediately jumped across that line of scrimmage and took my path away from me. And the best that I could do was to be somewhat flexible. And I kind of slid inside of him. And as I was going by him, he realized that it was a pass play and that he had me in man-to-man coverage. And so he quickly spun to the outside, momentarily losing sight of me. And as he lost sight of me, I just kind of drifted backwards and found myself in the end zone. Now, in the meantime, Bradshaw was faking my running mate, Franco Harris, and into that line of scrimmage. And when he pulled that ball out, looking for that receiver, myself, down that line of scrimmage, and when he did not spot me, being the smart, intelligent quarterback that we kind of perceived him to be, and it finally dawned on him that it might be a broken play. So he tucked the ball underneath his arm and he started to scramble to his right. And as he's scrambling to his right, that sideline, of course, was just looming up. Opposite side of him were these larger-than-life Neanderthal beings with lobotomies, just chasing him down. And then it happened, ladies and gentlemen. Then it happened maybe once in a lifetime. Will you ever experience it? When all time just happened to stand still. And our eyes met across the field. Now 30 yards separating us. And under pressure, he released the ball. Oh, maybe a little too quickly. Maybe a little too high. And it came floating into that end zone. And as it came floating into that end zone, I leaped all 5'9.5" of me with all my might, straight up in the air as high as I could go. Damn. Oh, I don't know. 18, 19, 20 feet. I kind of forget after all these years. And I grabbed that ball, and I came down across that goal line to give us a score and a lead. And a lead we never relinquished. But that is not why I wear this ring. I wear this ring because it happens to be the largest and gaudiest of all four of them. But you have to understand that every time that I wear these rings, I mean, for me, these rings truly are a symbol. And they're important if you think about it, as all symbols in our lives are important, because they're constant reminders of the successes that we've had, failures that we've experienced, depths that we prevailed, heights we've achieved, of the constant barriers that we had to overcome to be able to get where we are today. A constant reminder that wishing, wanting, hoping aren't enough to succeed. That getting to the top and becoming the best just doesn't happen. But yet, it takes all those ingredients that we've kind of come to learn in our lives. We understand that it takes hard work, and it takes dedication, and it takes a commitment, and it takes a passion. It takes people, leadership, and vision, and a belief system, all ultimately shoved in a capsule that we call a team.